Welcome into Inside the Icebox here on the ESPN Houston YouTube channel and ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. You catch us every single Friday. The video version drops in the morning. The radio show airs at 7 o'clock. Joe George, Jeremy Branham here with you talking all things Houston Astros. Today's show is brought to you by Blue Star Tequila, the world's first and only night harvested tequila. You can find it near you at bluestartequila.com. Jeremy, we have a lot to get to. Framber, Yiner, Jesus Sanchez, Yordan Alvarez. Well, we'll start with the fact that the Astros can't score. They went 34 2/3, I think it was the final tally, without scoring runs. You concerned?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How could you not be concerned? Everybody in the offense is struggling, sans Carlos Correa, right? You just go top to bottom. Like Jeremy Pena. Can Jeremy Pena handle playing near the spotlight of one Carlos Correa?
Yes.
I don't sincerely mean that. Altuve has been struggling. Jesus Sanchez it feels like he hasn't got a hit since the first week of the post-trade deadline. He's been awful, non-competitive at bats. Arias been okay. Dubon hit the homer, take him off the schneid. Cam Smith has been terrible. Sorry, hate to say it. He has not been good. I would send him down. You're getting nothing from Trammell anymore. He got hurt, banged his head on the wall after banging his body on the warning track. Melton hasn't given you much. Chaz can't hit righties. He can pitch a little bit. Christian Walker has kind of regressed a bit after he got hot. Everybody's struggling.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it at the same time, which is why you lead. You see this cumulative awfulness.
Yeah, it's very bad. And it's, frankly, a miracle they're still in first place at this point. They've gone, 5-7, I think it is, over the last 12. We're recording this on Thursday, so they haven't played the first game of the Orioles series yet. But the Mariners, thankfully, have been losing, or this would be a very different conversation. I can't believe the Astros are honestly in control of the West right now with how bad they're playing. It's a gift that the Seattle Mariners have given you. You're right, it's all bad. And for all of it to be happening at once is obviously making it so much worse. You could handle if it was just Jesus Sanchez and Cam Smith playing the way they're playing, but the fact that it's everybody outside of Carlos Correa is a huge problem. And it's one of those things that it's not really easy to fix. We'll talk about Yordan Alvarez. He doesn't fix everything. He can be a spark. He doesn't solve all the problems for the Astros. What are your typical thoughts post-team meeting?
How I feel about team meetings?
Yeah.
I think they're very overrated.
I feel like they're always bad.
I feel like they're overrated. Who has a lot of team meetings? Teams that suck. Teams that are not good. I'm not trying to totally dismiss it. I think it does carry some value. Carlos Correa calling up the troops. Does that do anything for Jose Altuve?
Nope.
Does that do anything for Christian Walker?
Nope.
Does it do anything for Jeremy Pena?
Nope.
Maybe it helps a Yiner Diaz. Maybe it helps a Cam Smith a little bit. But they're professionals. If you need another grown man to give you a pep talk for you to come out of your slumps, then I kind of question the player to begin with.
And they don't work. We saw the Texans have 3 within 5 days last year, and it's not like the offense magically woke up and was better. They had 2 within 24 hours last year, and they had another one coming. Jimmy Ward had said, ironic, but they don't solve your problems. So it's always a nice thing. I think fans get excited, they really care. They're having a team meeting.
Now they're going to win 8 in a row.
Yeah, but they don't ever really. I feel like they don't really result in anything. And if the Astros do all of a sudden get hot and are all of a sudden the best team in the American League over the next 2 weeks, I also don't think it's fair to point to the players only meeting and be like, that's why things got turned around.
This is a bigger topic for me. I think that we in sports overrate leadership. Everybody's like, oh, you got to have that leader in the clubhouse. And yeah, you have to, but I think they're easily replaceable. I think Carlos Correa is a great example to point to. Carlos Correa left in 2022 or 2021, and everybody's like, oh, they're going to miss his leadership. They're never going to recover. Who in the world's going to visit mounds? What's going to happen? They literally won the World Series the very next year. So, I do think leadership's important, but I think that people step up. I think you have you have 26 guys in that room. If there is the void of leadership, someone usually fills that void. When Correa left, it was probably Bregman. It was probably a collection of people. So I do think we overrate that. Like I remember that it triggers me because whenever he left, people were like, "Oh, they're never gonna overcome it. It's his most important trait." No, it's not. His most important trait is anything he's giving you offensively. Like, do you want a guy who's hitting 300 with 50 homers and playing elite defense that has 0 leadership attributes, or do you want a guy hitting 220 with 5 home runs that's playing mediocre defense but is the greatest leader ever? It's obvious. That's why we overrate leadership. Important to have. Important to have. But usually, whenever there's a void there, it's easily replaceable, and there's no way that it's anybody's best attribute. And if it is, then you're not a very good ball player.
Yeah, like that might have been Martin Maldonado's best attribute.
Maybe.
Because he couldn't hit, he couldn't throw guys out. He could frame a good pitch, but like leadership might have been number 2 behind Martin Maldonado's best qualities as a Houston Astros those final 2 years. So yeah, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, and it doesn't make me feel, or I don't think it should make the fans feel any better about the way the Astros are playing right now. Like if you're gonna scale this a 1 to 10 panic meter, I put it at like a 6.5. Honestly,
I mean, there's another way to kind of like, and it sounds like I'm putting down leadership because I guess I am. I just think people overrate it and overvalue it. Like leadership does matter. It's great to have a good leader, but one, they're professional players. Like it's different in the bigs than it would be like in high school. And secondly, like just ask yourself this question. Like the Astros offense has been struggling, shut out 4 of 6 games. They did something offensively that hasn't been done in 4 decades with 31 straight innings without scoring a run. They were Shane Reynolds' amount of innings without scoring a run. That's how bad it was. Would you rather have a players-only meeting, or would you rather score 7 runs the next day? Would you rather a guy going up and leading the players-only meeting or hitting 2 homers the next day? So that's my point. Like, give me production over leadership any day.
How worried are you about the West right now? It feels like this is a topic of conversation. I hate to use the word worry, but I think last week it was how confident are you that they're going to win the West. But now it does feel different that if the Mariners weren't struggling at the same time, that this would be, again, a different conversation with the Astros and the way they're playing right now. How worried are you that they're not going to be able to hold on to this division lead and really be able to make the playoffs and have home field advantage?
I mean, call me a sicko, but I feel like they're going to play out of this, and in large part because of what Seattle's done. Like, to your point, like Seattle, they lost 5 games in a row, off day Thursday, so we'll see what happens coming off of that. But if they had won 4 of those 5 and they're leading the division by 3.5 games, I guess, like it's a much different conversation. So I still think that the Astros kind of pull out of this. I think Yordan's going to help. You're right that he didn't fix all their problems. Now, the concern here a little bit is that all of a sudden this wild card lead's only 4. So like the breathing room in the division is one thing. The breathing room of making the playoffs in general is closing on you. So that like catches my attention. That's like, that would be an awful scenario. That would be a terrible thing. Because I remember, I don't think it was last week, I think it was probably 2 weeks ago, where it's like, hey, the divisional race is the divisional race, and yeah, that has importance, banners and all that. But the real race is at the top. The real race is clinching one of those 2 top spots. That way you can avoid the wild card, which that feels inevitable now. Like that feels daunting, like it's not going to happen. So I think with the Astros losing streak, even though Seattle is lost and the division lead's still the same, it has brought in the possibility of missing the playoffs entirely.
Yeah, you're closer to, right now, missing the playoffs. As we record this, the Astros are 4 games up on the Royals, who are currently the last team out of the wild card. They are 5 games back, 4.5 games back of the Blue Jays for the number 2 seed in the American League. So it's this weird dynamic of you're right there to catch the Blue Jays still in a way, but you're also right there and falling behind the Royals, who are playing really good baseball. Now, thankfully, the Mariners are also sandwiched in between, so if they continue to struggle, it gives you some breathing room, but it's the reality of where the Astros are at right now, the way they're playing, that they're as close to having a bye or securing home field advantage until the ALCS or missing the playoffs.
Yeah, and there's only 35 games left as we record. So, if the Astros continue to struggle, and let's say they go, what do we want to say? Want to say 35 games left? Let's say they go 15-20, which isn't terrible. It's not 10-25. You know what I mean? Like 15-20 happens. 15-20 happens over the course of 35 games, even for really good teams. So if they go 15-25, then Cleveland, or Kansas City, I don't know who has the tiebreaker. But Kansas City would have to win, and assuming they have 35 games left too, they're looking at going 20-15 from overpassing you, like overtaking you. So it is absolutely in play. Not to fearmonger, but the Astros haven't been playing good ball lately. Bullpen looks terrible. Rotation, The lineup hasn't been good. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to. I've been saying that the Astros have World Series capability and haven't wavered off that. And I still think, like, maybe I'm a crazy lunatic, but I still think that if they put it all together, they could make a run. But I can also see them completely missing the playoffs. Yeah. That's how helter-skelter this team has been.
Now, I think most of the guys in this lineup, rightfully so, because they've been here, get the benefit of the doubt, right? Jeremy Pena, Correa, Altuve, these guys are going to get the benefit of the doubt that they're all going to start playing good baseball again at some point. It's hard to feel that way with new guys.
Yeah.
What do you make of this Jesus Sanchez thing going on right
I think
now?
he's I haven't watched him much in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Or Miami, whatever they're calling that fishy team nowadays. I keep up with numbers and I look at baseball savant pages, and I knew who Jesus Sanchez was when they acquired him because he was actually a guy that I wanted the Astros to target just looking at his numbers. But after just watching him for however many games he's been with the Astros, I've called him the Jameis Winston of baseball, the Latino Jameis Winston, because he's kind of goofy. He's silly. He's always smiling, whether things are going good, whether things are going bad. Like, is he a serious person? I just think he's streaky. Like, I'm not giving up on Jesus Sanchez. Now, him being one of your top 4 hitters and somebody you're counting on, like, maybe that's not the instance for him, especially when he's slumping. So I think he's kind of I think he's a hot and cold guy. Just kind of reading the tea leaves on the defensive stuff is like kind of showed up at Fenway that first series where he misplayed a couple of those balls down the left field line, and then saw that the other day. Fortunately, it didn't cost him the game at the time, but that was super annoying.
Yeah, but he at least had their home run robberies.
That was in a 13-0 game, whatever it was, 12-0 game. Yeah. Saved 7 runs.
It could have been
19-0. Isn't that crazy?
So, yeah, that game could have been even worse than it was if it wasn't for Jesus Sanchez in that one. But Yordan Alvarez is pending, I guess, very bad news, is nearing his return to the Houston Astros. It feels like within the next 5 days, he will be back in the lineup. My first question for you is because when I was on the Killer Bees with you and Joel, that's really when we established the Yordan rules.
Oh, yeah.
What did you make of him stealing second base in a minor league game? Like, what is happening?
I don't know, man.
I cannot believe he did that.
I can't believe he did it either.
Like, that was crazy to me.
It's like you will respect my running abilities. You're not going to look over. Like, I know it was going on in Yordan's mind. Like, Yordan's sitting there thinking this jabroni AA pitcher isn't paying me any respect as I take my lead off of first. Yeah. The reason that he's not paying any respect because he knows I'm on a minor league rehab assignment, and he knows that I would never steal a base as I recover from a broken bone in my hand. And because of that, it's a great opportunity to steal second base. Like, that's what was going on in his head. It made no sense.
I couldn't believe it. I just, as soon as I saw it, this is how much what it's like working with you. You're the first thing I thought of. I saw him running down towards second base. I was like, oh, Jeremy's going to have a field day.
I mean, what can you do? Like, you just shake your head and be like, this guy. Like, what are we doing here?
What are your expectations for him when he returns?
I think he's going to be good.
I mean, the first game, like, there were some good plate appearances, some good contact. It looks like off video, looks like he's basically ready.
Like, it's tough to predict what a player's going to be after being gone for so long. And before he was playing, he wasn't doing well. And I've argued with a bunch of people on Twitter about, like, when he should return and, how good he's going to be whenever he does return and, agitating people and that sort of thing. I don't know how you could look at Yordan's 2025 and use that as any indicator to predict what he's going to do once he returns and then the rest of the season. Like, well, he was hitting so bad before he left. Well, he had a broken hand. Mm-hmm. Like, what did you expect? So, do I think Yordan Alvarez, once he makes his return in however many games he plays with the Astros the rest of the season, do I think that will be greater than the Yordan Alvarez we saw at the beginning of the season? Wouldn't everybody say that? Wouldn't everybody say yes? Mm-hmm. Like, I challenge there to be one person to say that when Yordan Alvarez returns, he's going to be worse than he was at the start of the year. Challenge one of you to say that. Because a lot of people are having that argument. Oh, well, he wasn't good at the start of the year. Why are you rushing him back? Because I think he's going to be better. Yep. I think he's going to be better than he was at the start of the year because he's not dealing, we hope, with a broken bone in his hand anymore. Hopefully the ailments are gone and all of that stuff. And then secondly, all he has to be, he doesn't have to be Yordan of yesteryear to help this team. He has to be one of your best 9 offensive players. If he's better than any of your top 9 offensive players, he's helping you.
Yep.
He's helping your offense. Do you think that Yordan Alvarez immediately today, if Yordan Alvarez comes up right now today, and maybe he will by the time this airs, do you think Yordan Alvarez is a top 9 Astro player the rest of the season?
Yes.
Then what are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing? If he can help a reeling offense that is clinging to a divisional lead, that is clinging to a playoff lead, if you're telling me he can literally swing a bat in Corpus, why can't he swing a bat at Camden?
I totally agree with you. I honestly, and I know they want to do the back-to-back games thing to like really make sure he's okay. I kind of wish he was just with the Astros right now.
Why not?
Like what's the point?
I've been losing my mind with some people on Twitter that are arguing with me about this. Oh well, you're an err on the side of caution guy. I am whenever it's a soft tissue injury. I am whenever the injury first begins. But Yordan Alvarez has been cleared to play in games. Am I wrong? Mm-hmm. He's been cleared to play in games. Is there any added physical toll from 4 or 5 plate appearances in Corpus than there is with the Astros?
No.
Any.
There's nothing.
Is he doing? And I'm not saying that he needs to play every day. I'm not saying that they should ramp him up, like more at bats, more get. No. Whatever your plan was for Yordan coming back, whether it was, hey, you're going to play a game, you're going to have an off day, you're going to play 2, you're going to have an off day, whatever your plan was, you can do that in Baltimore. It's not soft tissue. He's been cleared to play. There's no more physical toll being in the bigs than being in the minors. It doesn't make sense to me.
Do we have to give the Astros any level, and even Yordan, any level of credit for what we're seeing happen with his old teammate, with the way they handled this? You got 2 guys in Yordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker who both have small hairline fractures in their hands. One guy doesn't play, has been out for months, has tried to come back, hasn't been able to, finally coming back. The other one seems to have healed quicker, but is hitting 200, basically less than 200 over the last 2 months of the season. It's weird that you have both Tucker and Alvarez in the same situation. I think the Astros honestly handled it way better than what happened in Chicago. Because if Yordan was up here and hitting 200, less than 200, was still hurt every single day, it's better just to not have him here and have him at his strength later on in the season.
When did they discover the Tucker hairline fracture?
Pretty quickly after.
So they knew before he started playing again, or
no, he played again.
So he hurt his hand sliding?
He got hit.
He got hit. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he already hurt it sliding.
I think it might have been both, actually.
So he heard it, and then he was playing through the pain in it for a little bit, and then they x-rayed it and found it?
Yep.
Like how long after the
Within
the
like 2
impacts?
weeks.
Okay.
And he was good at first, but
so
then
he was playing for 2 weeks with a small hairline fracture and was performing okay.
Yeah, and then it unraveled.
And then I guess it felt bad enough where they x-rayed again.
Yeah.
And they found it 2 weeks later.
And then it totally unraveled, and then he got a couple days off and was put back in the lineup.
I don't know. I would say that the Astros handled it better.
Just because Tucker was so bad for them, I'm just like, it's almost better, I feel like, to let it fully heal.
Yeah, but I feel like this is when the player comes into play. Like Tucker's probably like, no, man, I don't want to go to the IL.
Especially going into contract year.
Right. Like that to me is the problem in Chicago. Is it's more. I don't know what the conversation was like. I don't know if the team was like, hey, yeah, we have no problem with you playing. I don't know if the team was telling Tucker, hey, man, we really like you on the IL, and Tucker said no. Like, I don't know the dynamic of that conversation. But the player is going to come into play at least a little. Mm-hmm. He's going to have a say. Be like, no, man, I'm good enough to play. I'm going to play. He's chasing a contract. So, no, I wouldn't say that the Astros handled it better. Absolutely not.
Okay, interesting.
No, especially with all of the injuries.
Yeah,
whether it was Tucker and then also the things they're doing while they're hurt. Like, oh, we don't discover that Kyle Tucker has a broken bone in his leg, which happens. Like, that's look, Tucker, like, it does happen. Like, you don't see stuff on inflammation right away. But knowing that stuff happens, why aren't you taking more looks?
And it's not like Yordan didn't do anything because he kept trying to come back and was still feeling the pain. So he still was attempting to play. It's not like he was just resting.
Yeah, look, I don't think the Astros necessarily are culpable in all of those things.
Yeah.
But Kyle Tucker was running on a treadmill with what we found out later, a broken bone in his leg. Mm-hmm. Yordan Alvarez this season was swinging with what we found out later, a broken bone in his hand. Jake Myers was in the starting lineup 2 days after a calf strain. Ronald Acuna was on the IL with the same calf strain immediately. Mm-hmm. So no, I don't like. Maybe case by case, you can look at one area where the Astros medical staff actually handled it right, but the circumstances of what happened makes them look bad. But whenever you have it over and over and over again, there is usually fire where there is that smoke.
All right, let's take a break here. When we get back, let's talk about Framber Valdez. As bad as the lineup has been, Framber has been unraveling, I think is the nicest way to put it. So let's hear from first our friends at Blue Star Tequila to teach you what night harvesting is all about.
In the highlands of Jalisco, as the fierce heat of day fades into dusk, the sun dips below the horizon, and our jimadores begin their work. Harvesting our precious agave azul beneath the glow of stars, while the night air is cool and calm. Away from the harsh heat of the sun, we protect our agave's freshness, locking in essential natural properties and sweetness, and preserving its unique flavor profile. This world-first practice has been warmly embraced by our jimadores, who relish the soothing embrace of evening's cool air as they work beneath the moon.
All right, Jeremy, to say it the nicest way possible, Framber Valdez has been not good. It has been kind of a mess for him ever since that game in which he called out essentially Joe Espada for the defensive alignment and being unhappy with that. Framber hasn't pitched that well. His last start was obviously a disaster, could barely get an out. It was 5-0 before you knew it. I mean, Framber has not looked good. What do you make of what you're seeing from Framber right now?
I thought he was pretty good in his start prior to who did he get rocked against? Detroit?
Yeah.
I don't remember who that start was against. Do you remember?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I thought he pitched pretty good in that game. I think he went like 6 innings, gave up 3 runs. The runs he gave up were all kind of like soft contact-y stuff. So that actually, like, I don't think it's a stretch of like 4 consecutive starts where he's pitched poorly. I think it's like 3 out of 4, at least as I define it. Like, you can debate that, obviously. And the line score wasn't fantastic, but I think it was 3 runs, 6 innings. He had his stuff. I thought it was like bleeders and soft contact or whatever. I mean, I do think pitchers go through this. Like, I kind of want to defend him a little bit because I feel like the backlash on him has been a little bit nuts. I feel like it's been unfair to a guy who's been a pillar of the golden era of Houston Astro baseball, arguably the greatest left-handed starter in Houston Astro baseball history. You know, some of the comment, like the shift thing, not the outfield alignment when the ball went into the corner and it cost him a run. That one was probably throwing his coaching staff under the bus. Like, and look, I take the coach's side on it. Like, they know where to position these guys. I believe them more than I believe Framber there. So I could see how people would get, not take that great. But the stuff he said in his the prior start, I actually thought that was much ado about nothing. I thought people were overrating that. He was asked specifically, it was the guy who was throwing the perfect game. I guess it was against Baltimore. I didn't think he pitched bad against Baltimore. The guy was throwing a perfect game or whatever, all the way into whatever inning it was, 7th or 8th. And then McTaggart asked Framber, like, hey, did it impact you that you weren't getting a lot of time during the half inning while your team was hitting? He's like, yeah, it bothered me. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong.
What's wrong with that answer?
Yeah,
it bothered me.
Well, it's one of those, Jeremy, where I think we all want athletes to be honest until they're honest and you just don't like what they say.
Exactly. And it also depends on performance. If he's performing great, no one bats an eye. If you're performing poorly, then everybody's mad. In fact, what they say does not matter. Ever. Ever. Their performance matters. You could mother F all of Houston, but if you're winning the Cy Young, they're gonna love you. But, oh, look at this guy, he's a natural heel.
Yep.
But he's our natural heel. You could say everything kindly and be performing the worst possible, of your life, and say everything right. And people are like, oh, this guy's not sincere. I can't take this guy seriously. Yeah. It never matters what they say. It always matters what they're performing like. And then, like, the other thing was he was asked about, like, backing up the plate. He's like, yeah, that was 100% my fault. Took blame.
Yep.
He's like, he said something like, I can't predict where they're going to throw it or, like, where they're going to play. Kind of rambled on there. I didn't really understand what he was saying there. But to me, it was him accepting responsibility of being in the wrong spot. He said, my fault, 100%, I should have been there. So I don't really care about and like the next day they're all going to hang out, eat peanuts together at the end of the dugout. Like, I feel like we overrate quotes and that sort of stuff way too much. Is that stuff actually tangible and have any significance in the clubhouse? I really don't think so. Now, if it happens over and over, he's not liked. All of a sudden maybe you have an issue, a clubhouse cancer. I don't think he's that. I think he's universally liked. I think people like him, and he's always like cordial and friendly when he's not pitching. I think it's the competitor in him, which I want my pitchers to be bulldogs and competitors. Now, his actual stuff and all that, it hasn't been wonderful. I think he's in a pitcher slump right now. He hasn't had great feel of his secondary stuff. His curveball has only been really good one game. I think it was the Baltimore game. He's having trouble controlling the sinker. He started off that Detroit game with back-to-back walks. He just hasn't been very good, quite frankly.
Yeah, he's given up 21 runs in his last 4 starts. His ERA has jumped from a 2.62 to a 3.32. But he was excellent. Basically, from June 24th to July 28th, he had given up a total of 7 runs in those starts.
Yeah.
So right, slumping is the right way. I didn't listen to the full segment. So if there's anything I'm missing in context here, you'll have to fill me in.
Yeah.
I did see the video, though, that was put out for your guys' show from you and Joel, talking about Yiner catching Framber. So it seems like you feel like Yiner is part of the problem here for Framber as well.
I think it's probably an overstatement.
Yeah.
I think there's something there. Admin threw me under the bus with that. Catcher problem, question mark. It was a secondary conversation, not at all about what we were talking about, but whatever. I wonder, I used to have this thought with Evan Gattis, because Evan Gattis was a terrible receiver. And, I've seen this, with pitchers who don't have great receivers, is that a lot of times when things aren't going right, they don't always trust their catcher, which then means that they don't trust their stuff, in the dirt. Framber Valdez is a big curveball guy, right? To get swing and miss, he relies on his curveball. If you feel like you're a pitcher who needs to throw his breaking stuff in the dirt, and you think that you have a receiver and a catcher who isn't going to block that pitch, do you think it could impact the pitcher's ability to throw that baseball with 100% efficiency?
Absolutely.
With 100% confidence. And when Framber's going well, okay, well he's in a good rhythm. He's in a good flow. He's not thinking about those sort of things. That stuff doesn't enter his mind. He's pitching good. He's got good control. The feel on everything's really nice. Everything's working. No problem. Whenever he's struggling and he misses with a sinker that rides inside to a lefty and his catcher can't catch it and it goes to the backstop, does that doubt start to creep in? And I've noticed it more over the last month or so, but you can go, I should probably just go track every single time that Framber's pitched over this stretch and how many balls have went to the backstop. And look, some of it's his fault. Some of it's him being wild. But I do think that there are some issues with Yiner, A, being a good receiver, B, receiving a guy's stuff who moves a lot. Moves a lot. Because Yiner, he's whiffing on some sinkers that are missing it, and they're tough balls to catch, but they're catchable. And I've also noticed Yiner too is not blocking as much anymore. He's picking everything, and it's if you're a curveball guy and you see your catcher picking everything instead of wearing it off the chest protector and having it rest at the plate when it's all said and done, I think it could come into play.
I think this is one of those too where we have to look back at history a little bit of the Houston Astros and maybe just acknowledge that Dusty Baker was right. That, the reason why Maldi was catching as much as he was for Framber and other guys, even though the bat production wasn't there, maybe it did make sense to have him back there as much. And maybe it does make sense, honestly, to have Caratini back there instead of Yiner when Framber's on the mound.
No, I would try it.
If that's what's best for Framber, it's what's best for the Astros. Even, you can't really argue the bat thing at this point. Caratini's been just as good as Yiner, if not better, honestly.
Not recently, but
overall. For most of the season. So, and it just makes more sense to have Caratini back there, then it makes more sense.
Yeah.
And I'd be curious to see if that does happen at some point, where we see Caratini catch Framber more often, maybe just to get him out of this slump. If he feels more comfortable with the guy, even it can be frustrating for fans, specifically with a guy like Framber, he needs to be as comfortable on the mound as possible. That's been so clear for his entire career as a member of the Houston Astros. Yeah. Whether it's the fact that how he performed after Dusty Baker didn't give him the start in the All-Star game, or how he's performed with Maldi back there versus other guys. If it just makes more sense to have Caratini back there, then that's the guy who should be back there.
I would at least try it.
Yeah.
I would at least try it. And look, Caratini's not a great receiver either. He's not a great defensive catcher. Neither one is a very good defensive catcher. But I think that Caratini's better at receiving than Yiner is. I think Caratini's probably a little bit more respected by Framber than Yiner. That sounds mean, doesn't it? But he's a veteran. Like he's a veteran who's caught a lot of big league games. He's more mature. Yander's younger. Just to shake it up, like maybe it gets Framber going. Maybe it's what gets Framber back on track. Maybe it's the Framber that we saw, in midseason form versus the Framber we've seen over the last 4 games. The psychiatrist element of it, I think that was a big reason that Dusty liked Maldi catching Framber, was that Maldi could kind of, know what to say to Framber, know how to talk to Framber. Maybe that comes into play a little bit too. You do have Correa around now where, maybe that could factor in. He likes to make the mound visits too with the catcher. But I think it's more about the receiving. I think that there could be, and I'm not saying this is 100% it, but there could be 5% of Framber's mind of, okay, I'm not throwing my curveball right now because I don't really trust my curveball right now. And then on top of that, I don't really trust my catcher to catch a bad curveball. It makes it very difficult for that curveball to be at its best.
One of the other things that's going on right now in baseball that will eventually have an impact on the Astros, it doesn't at this moment, but Rob Manfred was on Sunday Night Baseball. He finally just said, we want to add teams. So they want to go to 32, location TBD. Feels like Charlotte, Nashville, Portland are the hot cities that are mostly being talked about right now, but you never know where another team could end up being. But also came with that of geographical realignment. From the big picture perspective, do you like either of those things?
I don't mind expansion too much. Do I think it's necessary? No.
I'll be honest, I don't like the expansion.
I think that 32 is a better number than 30.
I
will say that.
It's not an issue. I agree with that. My issue is that before you expand, you should fix your problems. You fixed Tampa Bay. Someone just bought them. They have not broken ground.
But he wants to keep them in Tampa.
They have not broken ground in Las Vegas.
I thought they did.
Or I think they did, but
they
it's not,
put a shovel in the dirt.
Yeah, but it's not real. You got the Colorado Rockies. You've got teams like the Chicago White Sox, whose biggest contract ever given out was to Andrew Benintendi. You've got real problems, I think, in ownership groups across Major League Baseball. I really feel like they should address those first, and be like, hey, we got to get these teams going in the right direction before we talk about adding 2 new teams. Fix your problems before you add. I try to get those teams to sell.
I think I disagree. Tampa did sell.
They did. But you don't think what happened with Minnesota's strange? I mean,
it's weird, but how can you tell an owner how to owner? You know what I mean?
No, you're right. Unless you do a salary floor.
I think that there are fixes that kind of please both masters here. I'm a fan of the salary floor. I like that idea. But I don't think you can tell owners how to own. I own my truck, right? This commissioner of cars is going to come take away my truck. What? That doesn't make any sense. Right. I can do whatever the heck I want with my truck. So it's always kind of weird to me how they vote out owners. But I guess it's something they sign with the whole CB. I don't know. But no, I think Tampa's fine. Tampa's been a winning team. They're going to be smaller market. Not everybody's going to be this big market, striving, thriving franchise. It'd be great if they moved to the other side of the bay, all that. If they wanted to move, let them move. I think that the athletic situation's trending in the right direction. Maybe it's taking a long time, but I think moving to Vegas is good for them.
I'm under the assumption they're going to spend when they get to Vegas.
No idea. I don't know how owners are going to react. What's the issue with Colorado? They've
just been terrible forever.
Yeah. They still draw though.
It's true. They still they check those boxes, but I just wonder. I'm does it really make sense to expand right now? I get why they want to do it. I do think 32 makes more sense than 30.
Yeah.
It's going to be a nice chunk of change to the owners.
Yeah.
What I don't like about it also is I think the expansion gives the owners some leverage in terms of the lockout, that they know that they can not play baseball for a year, knowing that expansion is coming on the other side.
I see what you're saying.
And there's going to be 2 giant expansion fees in which they're all going to get 50 to some hundreds of millions of dollars, whatever it's going to be, when these 2 new teams come into play.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives them a reason, honestly, to lock out the players, knowing that they'll eventually be fine, even though I think the sport will suffer dramatically.
Yeah, that's kind of we're going to lose this money this year, but we're going to recollect it this next year.
Yeah.
No, that would stink. I kind of think that those are 2 separate entities, though. Expansion and the new CBA and getting to an agreement. I think those are 2 separate entities. Maybe I'm naive there. Of course, I don't want a work stoppage. Keep playing baseball. That would suck. I remember '94, and how they dug themselves a hole that steroids had to get them out of. So work stoppage would be terrible. But I think 32 is a better number than 30, and I don't think that you can tell owners how to own.
So with the realignment with this, there's a bunch of people have talked about 8-team divisions, 4-team divisions. Geographic has been the name of the game. The Astros are in a weird boat, though, with the Rangers. I mean, I got 2 here. So Jim Bowden from The Athletic proposed putting them in the Western Conference Southwest, which would be the Astros, Royals, Cardinals, and Rangers.
Yeah.
That makes some sense. But the one I think that's been more popular has been seeing the Astros, Rangers, Royals, and like the Rockies.
Yeah.
Or putting the Astros and Rangers in a division with the Rockies and the Diamondbacks and Las Vegas, something like that. From a selfish point of view, I really don't want the one where it's the Astros and the Rangers and 3 West Coast teams. I don't want to see all these 9 o'clock games, even more, because it does feel like they're going to play the division more. I feel like they're going to change everything.
Which is stupid to me. Like,
Yeah.
Isn't this year's schedule the whole purpose of this year's schedule so you can play every team in baseball and play your division rivals less?
Yeah, but it feels like they're going to.
And then all of a sudden, Manfred comes out. Now we're going to play them more. Well, you just flip flopped. I like this season's schedule. I like playing everybody. You still have more divisional games than you do against your league. You still have more divisional games than you do against the opposite league. I actually like the way the schedule is a lot this year. I think it's very good. I don't like the breaking up of the American League, National League like some. Like the Mets and the Yankees in the same division. Like, no, that's an NL team, that's an AL team. Like,
I think it ruins it.
I don't like that. People would push back at me, well, the Astros did it. Well, the Astros weren't like a long time organization in Major League Baseball. They did come in the same time as the Mets, so that would be the pushback there. But like, you get rid of the American League would be really weird. You get rid of the National League, that'd be weird. So I don't love that. Like, maybe I would like grow to like it, condition me to like it. The thing that I dislike the most, though, are the 4 division teams, like the divisions, and then have 4 teams in each division. I think if you go to 32, you have 2 leagues, however you want to define it. I would like them to keep AL, NL, but go to 2 leagues, and then have 2 divisions in each league of 8 teams each.
Yeah, I thought that you were the one that was kind of
I'm a
that.
big fan of the 2 divisions each league. Like you have the wild card now. There's 6 teams that are making the playoffs in each league. Like, you don't need 3-4 divisions.
Yeah.
Go back to 2 divisions. Each division champ are the 2 teams that get buys, and then everybody else is a wild card. They meet in the wild card round. Actually, it puts more emphasis on winning a division again.
Well, and
because right now you can win a division, and you're playing in the wild card round.
Yeah, I don't like that.
So win a division with 2 leagues, 2 divisions in each league. Win that division, and then there you go. You got your bracket. Everybody else can play in the wild card round.
How much do you think they'll try to expand the playoffs?
I don't want expansion to the playoffs.
They will, though.
That'd be gross. I like it at 6. I guess.
I think they're going to go to the NFL model.
I mean, that'd be even worse.
So 7.
I think I'd rather have 8 than 7.
I think so too, because I don't like having one team having a bye. I think it's strange. Like, if you're going to do it, but that means 50% of your league is making the playoffs. I mean, the NBA, it's more than 50% right now, and they're going to expand, but still, I mean, you technically have 20 teams right now of the 30 making the playoffs if you count the play-in. Like, I
would keep it at 12.
I would like them to keep it at 12, but the way they're talking about this added inventory, it feels like part of that comes with playoff expansion too.
Probably.
And I don't like that.
Maybe they get rid of 8 regular season games.
Yeah, I know why they're doing this, but a lot of it I really don't like. I think there is value to the Yankees and the Mets only playing a handful of times a year, or the Cubs and the White Sox, or the Angels and the Dodgers. And then, there is history there, and doesn't it just feel like it goes away if they play 12 times a year?
Yeah, and also it's really cool when they met in the World Series.
Yeah,
I know,
it
the
can never happen
Subway
again.
World Series. Wow. Or when Oakland played San Francisco in the world that. You get rid of the leagues that have been how the history has been written in your league. I'm not too traditional. I'm I guess modern traditionalist, but just deleting the American and National Leagues feels weird to me.
Yeah, and I don't really like how they're going to approach everything in terms of history, because right now we already get they show stats, and it's always since interleague play was brought in. Now it's going to be since the divisions were totally realigned, since geographical divisions were put into place. I get why they're thinking about it, but they want to limit the travel and everything, but my gosh, it just feels kind of unnecessary.
Yeah.
Is anyone really? I mean, maybe the owners are asking, maybe the players are asking for this, but like, I don't know. Like with this new schedule, like, so the Astros go to Chicago once every other year to play the Cubs. Like, does that really change your plan? You go to the Mets once every other year. The other year they come here. Like, is it really necessary to do all of this? This is one where I feel like baseball is overthinking it just a little bit.
That's why I rather have less divisional games.
Yeah.
Like, just play everybody. Play everybody. I like the schedule this year to hear, like, oh, we need more geography and more games against geography. It's like, well, that's a contradiction to what you did last year.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't like what I'm hearing with that.
No, it's strange, to say the least. And they'll, who knows, maybe they'll make it even weirder because we think Colorado's bad. I still think there's a chance, Jeremy, they might try to go Mexico City.
Nah.
And we've seen the way that ball flies out of that ballpark.
I mean, they're talking about Salt Lake. Salt Lake's not much better.
Yeah, I know. I don't. We'll see. To me, it feels like Nashville and Charlotte is the way I would go. Personally, Nashville works everything that goes there, and then Charlotte has had the #1 minor league baseball attendance for like the last decade.
That's cool.
So like you might as well put a real team there to support it. You know, the White Sox would hate it because they lose like a cash cow.
Yeah.
I think more people go see their AAA team than their major league team.
They should just move their big league team to Charlotte.
I agree. All right, he's Jeremy Branham. I'm Joe George. This has been Inside the Icebox. You can find us here every single Friday on the ESPN Houston YouTube channel and at 7 o'clock on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. As always, the show has been brought to you by Blue Star Tequila, the world's first and only night harvested tequila. You can find it near you at bluestartequila.com. Thanks for watching and listening. We'll talk to you next week. Peace.